A coach is a person who acts as a catalyst for unlocking hidden potential and maximising performance. The participant development model shows how a participant goes through the fundamentals at the start of their lives, then go through learning how to play and practice. This can lead to participant-oriented sports, or going into performance-oriented sports, where they would have to maintain their performance at a high level to become an elite athlete in their chosen sport. Young children will have various reasons in why they participate in sport. Sports Coach UK say that their main reasons are for pleasure and enjoyment, for friendship and acceptance. The children who also turn up to the coaching sessions want to improve themselves in their particular sport, but they also turn up to the coaching sessions so that they can keep their health and fitness up. The children can play in friendly competitions so that they can have experience in playing competitions against other teams. The inclusion spectrum is a model for coaches to find new ways to include participants with all sorts of disabilities to get involved in all types of sport. This includes open activity sports such as football, basketball. These sports that can have little or no modifications for disabled participants to get involved in. The spectrum includes modified activities, which means that the participants with disabilities also perform the same sports but with separate goals to reach. Some examples of this type of activity would be tennis or athletics. The spectrum also includes separate activities, which means that the disabled children perform a completely different task to the rest of the group but in the same sport. The last part of the spectrum is the parallel activities. This means that the participants are grouped together by abilities so that the disabled participants would be grouped together and given a simpler task to do within the sport that is being coached. Coaches need to gain considerable background information before they can be expected to include any physically disabled child in their teaching groups. Their coaches could also ask the parents, school or organisation questions about the disabilities within the groups they are coaching. The questions could possibly include: is the disability inherited or acquired? Is the child on medication? Could the medication affect the performance of the child during the session? Is the disability caused by brain damage? Will extra time or help be needed during a coaching session? Can normal PE kit be worn by the child? Can the child work out of his or her wheelchair? Can he or she manage to transfer him or herself without extra help? Coaches must check that the environment is not in any way hazardous and that neither you, the disabled child, nor his or her classmates can in any way jeopardise the safety of others. The coach would have to show the disabled child how to perform a safe movement if he or she were asked to move during a coaching session. An example of this would be when the disabled child is using gym equipment. The coach or coaches would have to keep close observation on the disabled child or children during every coaching session so that they are performing each move in the safest possible way so that they don't injure themselves during a session or session. When the coach is coaching individual participants, they must treat each athlete individually according to their abilities, potential, learning characteristics and specifics of the sport regardless of their performance level. When the coach is coaching individuals, they can pull that particular individual aside during a coaching session and give them key points to work on outside of the coaching session in their own spare time so that they can improve their own game. The skill for the coach is to identify all players' individual needs and see if the cluster of needs appears within one particular component. The coach can then evaluate every participant and see if every participant has something in common that they will need to improve on in some sort of way. If the coach was to focus on one particular individual, then they would have to focus on every participant to improve their own abilities and self-esteem so that they feel more confident when actively participating in the sport elsewhere other than the coaching sessions. With more elite sport and larger scale support teams, the coach may have a more specialised set of delivery responsibilities, perhaps technique and tactical development in addition to overall strategy. When a sports coach is coaching teams, he or she may have to change their type of delivery style during sessions so that every participant in the session can benefit from a variety of different coaching and delivery styles being used or shown by the head coach. The coach would also have to make sure that during every coach session, the cohesion and harmony between all the participants and coaches together stay positive so that this provides a positive outlook on the team during the competition season. The coach would also have to look at the team strategy and find out how to improve that strategy by asking the participants what they need to work on as a group and then focus on that for a certain number of sessions. A coach will coach a variety of different performers in his or her lifetime, and these performers include young performers, disabled performers, adult performers, participation performers, and elite performers. The sport coaches will have to learn how to adapt your coaching style for different stages of development and individual needs, and gain tips on how to deal with many different, sometimes challenging situations. Sports Coach UK says that the coaches have to plan and develop realistic coaching programs for individual performers as they grow and mature. This means that the sports coaches will have to plan around the young performers' growth and maturation so that they don't stunt and damage the participants' health. Sports Coach UK says that coaching disabled people is no different, and the rest of the resource will continue to reinforce this point. Sports coaches will still have to keep their individual session plans, but will have to cooperate the disabled participants into the session with simpler tasks, so that disabled participants don't feel left out. Sports coaches will have to plan for adults in detail, as some of the adults might be attending their sessions for recreational reasons, and some of the adults may be participating just to keep fit and healthy. This means that the coaches' plans will have to vary in intensity of the activities they have planned so it suits every adult's status of health. Sports coaches around the world will have to produce very detailed session plans in order for their sport-orientated participants to enjoy and benefit from every coach session they perform. The participants will return to the coaching sessions if they think that the coach is helping them improve in that particular sport. Sport coaches around the world are starting to identify elite athletes at a younger age, as it is starting to become more structured in their particular sports. This is shown in Navin's book as a line that goes from sport performance to elite performance. The next part of Navin's line is that a variety of different sports are looking for child elite athletes rather than adult elite athletes. This may be because the national governing bodies of particular sports may find child elite athletes easier to work with, as they could predict a brighter future for the elite athletes. Although as the elite athletes begins growing, their skill and mechanical loads will start to increase, because the coaches will start to plan for them to improve and excel further in their sport as their muscles are getting bigger. As the elite athletes are maturing and growing in health and size and physical fitness, their flexibility and strength will increase, but only if the coach keeps up to date with the athlete's current flexibility and strength levels in order for them to plan how to increase it then further. The final part of Navin's line is that the training times for the elite athletes increases as they get older, as the coach knows that the athlete's muscular fitness and cardiovascular endurance will increase further as they get older.